Hey guys, it's Sarah from Snacks and Crafts. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be making a sushi bake. First, we're going to start with our rice base. Instead of using white rice, I'm using miracle rice and cauliflower rice. We're going to mix these together to create our white rice replacement. Say that 3 times fast. You're going to want to strain the miracle rice product. Anytime you're using these kind of replacements, they also have noodles. You're going to want to strain and rinse them and even soak them in some sort of flavored broth because the liquid that they're stored in does have kind of a funny taste. So I'm just going to rinse that and set it aside in water. If I were using the noodles, I would soak them in some sort of broth like a ramen broth or chicken veggie broth. Next we have the cauliflower rice. This is straight from the microwave. It is very, very hot, and the trick is to wrap it in a kitchen towel, even 2 kitchen towels if you need. And you're going to squeeze out the liquid in the cauliflower rice. You want to be really careful while you do this, and once you're done, you just set it aside for later. Next, we're going to move on to our salmon. For this, you could use a mixture of salmon and imitation crab meat. Usually imitation crab meat will give you that California roll flavor. I couldn't find the brand of surimi that I like. I really like the Simply Surimi from my local Whole Foods because it doesn't include any actual crab meat in it. So here I'm going to kind of do crisscross cuts into the salmon. This is just going to help it cook faster since I'm going to flake it to put onto the sushi bake. I'm going to season this with just black pepper and soy sauce. Very simple, very easy. There's still going to be a lot of flavor in this dish, but that's all I want to be infused into the salmon because I love black pepper with fish. And then the soy sauce is obviously going to make it taste more like sushi and bring out the saltiness in the fish. I forgot that I recorded this part, but I also added squeezed garlic and squeezed ginger. I always keep these in my refrigerator, and I have my dirty fish hands, so I'm trying not to touch those with the fish hand. And since it was already in the plate and I already had a dirty hand, I was just going to rub it in to the areas because ginger is really, really good with soy sauce. Soy and ginger together, so good. And then you can't really go wrong with garlic. It is also very good. But I figured those would add some extra flavor. It's really funny that I forgot I even did this part until I recorded it. I added in all these hand washing bits just so y'all can't say I didn't wash my hands. Next, we're going to put this in the oven just until it's done. I want the internal temperature to be between 145 and 150 because we are going to bake it twice, so I want it just done. I don't want to dry out the salmon. You could cook it to full doneness, whatever your preference is. Basically, cook your salmon as you prefer. Next, I'm getting out all the ingredients that I use to make my sushi rice. We're going to take our cauliflower rice and our miracle rice, and we're going to add some ingredients to it to make it more rice tasting because these are very bland ingredients. So I've strained the miracle rice and I'm just going to add the cauliflower rice to that same bowl. My first ingredient is rice vinegar. I love keeping this on hand just to add flavor to any kind of like Asian dish that I'm pairing rice with, especially if I'm trying to imitate sushi rice. I just do about a capful. If I'm doing a double batch, I'll put like a full cap. I'm also going to add liquid stevia extract. This is a very old bottle. It has lasted me a very long time. I just do about a full dropper in here because sushi rice does have a bit of a sweet taste to it. And again, we're trying to mimic sushi. Isn't that pretty? Just kind of looks like regular weird looking rice. It does roll around kind of funny. Always taste it before you're going to put it in your pan because if you're going to eat this later, you want it to taste good. I know how much rice vinegar and stevia I like in my sushi rice for it to taste this way. I would start with the tiniest little bit and season it up as you go. Here I'm adding 1 warmed brick of cream cheese. You could let the cream cheese sit out at room temperature like a normal person, but I always just heat it up till it's kind of melty, so it's very, very easy to spread. And also I forget to set out my cream cheese ahead of time. So we're going to mix that all together. If you were going to make regular sushi rolls, like rolled up sushi hand rolls, this is great to kind of get that sticky rice consistency. Again, you want to taste it. Always taste as you go when you're cooking, because you don't want to get to the final product and realize, oh, this was bad. So you might as well taste it now and stop if you need to. Next, I'm going to take my salmon out of the oven. Again, I was constantly checking the temperature. I don't know how long it baked, but I wanted an internal temperature of at least 145 to 150 to know that the salmon was fully cooked on the inside. Next, I'm going to take a couple of forks and just shred the salmon. I am trying to take out the skin here because I was going to put it to the side so my husband could eat it. You could just leave the skin in there in your final baked product. That's totally okay. At this point, I realized this is the pan I need to make the full bake, and the rice goes first, so I had to move my salmon to another bowl just for the meantime. But I didn't fully clean it out because all the flavors can meld together. It's going to be wonderful. Here I'm pressing down the rice into the pan and smoothing it out. This is a perfect batch for I don't know if this is 8x8 or 9x9, but a little square baking dish. Definitely double this recipe if you're going to do like a 9x13 or one of those longer rectangle pans. This pan is going to give us 4 adult servings. Our next layer is the seaweed sheets. I recommend getting either the smaller seaweed snacks, so it's a bit drier, or just crunching up a couple of these sheets and sprinkling it on. Don't lay the sheets out like I did because it makes it more difficult to cut the dish when you're doing that. This step I'm just adding some everything but the bagel seasoning. I love adding this to any kind of sushi bake thing because it's garlic, onion, sesame seeds, poppy seeds, I think. But all of those things taste really good. It's very savory with the dish. I mentally had a pause because I was like, I'm missing something in this moment. Why is the salmon dry? And then I realized I forgot to add my mayonnaise. So I'm taking the salmon out of the pan. I'm going to add my mayonnaise, and then I'm going to add it back to the pan. So I love using Blue Plate mayonnaise. It's my #1 mayonnaise. It's really thick, so if you're used to Duke's mayo, it's similar. It's like in the same class of mayonnaise as Duke's. It's like a heavy duty mayonnaise is what it's called. So it's got more egg yolk than just like Kraft mayo. It's also just a bit yellower. Kewpie mayo is like even more. It's in a separate class of mayonnaise. It has even more egg yolk than the Blue Plate and Duke's mayonnaise, which is why it's so yellow in color. So I just love mayonnaise. And now we will add the salmon back to the pan. That's the salmon consistency I'm looking for. Again, if you had a mixture of imitation crab and salmon, you could layer them separately, or you could mix them together in this layer. But I just like it like this. So I'm going to add more everything but the bagel seasoning. Honestly, it did not need this layer because that got all mixed into the top. So the final dish ended up being very, very like salty, savory. It was actually really, really good, but I didn't have to do that. So now I'm going to take the dish out of the oven. This is the most exciting part. So we're just heating it up. I think I put it in there for like 30 minutes just to get everything warmed and sitting together because everything's cooked. But you just want it to all kind of meld together. I'm going to top this with Kroger brand Sriracha sauce and Kewpie mayo. This is just for decoration. You could leave this off. Like you could not add this at this moment and then add it once you plate the dish. But I was just like wanting it to look cute. Look at the squiggles. So there's that. I'm going to serve this with some thinly sliced cucumber and sliced avocado. See, this is the moment that I'm talking about. The seaweed sheet was a full sheet and it just did not want to cut because once it gets wet, if you have not already sliced it, it's, I don't want to say gummy, but it wants to fight you. So I recommend not leaving the full sheet, basically. So next, we're just going to plate this up in a bowl. Again, serve with thinly sliced cucumber. You could make a cucumber salad and some sliced avocado. Anything that you kind of like to eat with your sushi, you could add that. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys next time.